Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to use a few different stamp sets. I've got some My Pink Stamper stamps for the sentiments and some Lawn Fawn stamps. And then the main thing that I'm going to use is this slim die, I think it's called Presents or Peekaboo Presents or something like that, from Mama Elephant. That's the main element. I've got some black and white cardstock, just box standard cardstock, and I also have some glitter cardstock that I've had for a billion years and I thought I would drag out. The darker of the pink is actually from one of the Simon Says stamp card kits from a little while ago. So yeah, so when you cut out the die, it will cut out the frame and the centerpiece, and then what you can do is use the one of the extra pieces or extra dies to cut the little I guess like little openings or little flap bits. That sounds awful, but you know what I mean. And so I basically did it twice, and with the white one I cut the extra like openings, kind of like little books, and so this is this piece. And then with the black one I didn't. I thought I'd just try and make the cards a little bit different from each other, and I'm going to swap each of the frames so that you kind of get this monochrome black and white thing going on with some added color with all the glitter and that. So it's just a nice way if you run out of ideas for color schemes, then I would suggest going black and white and then adding in your favorite color. So you don't have to add in more than one color. You can just add in, say purple's your favorite color, then just color, say an image, or die cut something, an image or whatever it is in that color, and that just gives you a different look, but it's just something to get your mojo going. So this is also the first of my seasonal crafting, shall we say. It is officially July when you're watching this, so yay. I love this time of year. Well, it's still the middle of summer where I am, but I love this time of year as far as crafting goes, because Christmas in July has been a thing for many years, and I also start all my Halloween fall kind of crafting at the same time, so watch out for that next week. So what I've done here is I'm taking, for this first black and white card, or this first card I should say, I'm using the black frame as a guide to where to put the this sort of centerpiece that's got the little openings in it. And the reason I did it this way around for this particular card is that underneath the openings is the base card, which is also white. So when I go to stamp you can stamp images or you can stamp messages, which is what I'm going to do. It's on white cardstock, so it makes it really easy as well. You can always put another piece of cardstock just behind that in a different color, or if you've got a different color base card, you can always add a piece in there just by cutting it to the slightly smaller than the size of those that center panel. And so I'm using the sentiments for this one from the My Pink Stamper Winter Punnies, and I managed to find 3 that weren't punny as such, but that are just nice, and they kind of work together from left to right. It just kind of makes sense as almost like a whole sentiment, but they're individual little ones. Obviously you can add a lot more to the center, to the little openings. I was trying to keep this as simple as possible, because if you've got a lot of Christmas cards to make, then sometimes you need quick and simple. Now I call this quick and simple. There is a bit of inlay that we're going to do as far as like all the little gifts that go on the front of the card, and you'll see that in a bit. But it was pretty quick, and the fact that I had cut it out twice, so that I essentially got 2 cards out of one or 2 passes of the die cutting, the die, I can't talk today, the die machine and the paper, meant that I essentially was making 2 cards at the same time, just like that. Yeah, it just made sense to me at the time. Anyway, I completely digress. So for this one, I decided to pop up the frame. Yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to add that in there. And it doesn't add a ton of bulk, so it's nice. It's just a nice, like just a little added touch kind of thing, like raising the frames of things. If I'd cut it out, say 3 or 4 times, you could stack the same frame on top of itself, and that would give you the same effect, basically. So I have like a billion foam things to take off now, of course. But you know me, I like a lot of foam. I'm not stingy with my foam or my adhesive, because I definitely don't want these falling apart. So just around the outer edge of the center section is where I've put all the foam dots or foam pieces. And that way I know that my frame's gonna fit on there. You can also put the foam on the back of the frame and then put that on, but I thought this might be easier, and it wasn't too bad actually. It was pretty easy to do, to get this on. I like that there's stitching detail on this frame, and obviously bear in mind that you don't have to use that centerpiece and these presents that are in this die set. You don't have to use them together. That frame you could use for anything. So any other card you've got, or any other images, or if you wanted to use it as a frame just to frame up a little scene that you've stamped and coloured, perfect. So as with the other one, I'm just temporarily taping the cards shut so they lie flat while I'm working with them. So now I've got a black card base. Oh, the card bases are 8.5 by 7, scored at 3.5. And that will fit the Mama Elephant. It's a standard size. I want to call it a DL card. I don't know if that's the actual size of a DL, but this is like a slimline card. This is kind of the standard size, as opposed to the minis and things like that. So I think minis are like 3 by 6 or something. Anyway, so for this one, I'm going to put the frame on flat onto the card, and it's a little tricky because the card's black and my glass mat's black as well. But what I did for this one to try and line it up as best I could is I only took the tape off on a couple of the corners. And this is an old trick from many years ago, and it just helps because you can use those to get it in position, and then you just take the tape out from underneath it and it just puts it right in the right place. It's just a little easier when you've got something that's a little fiddly to work with. It makes it a little easier to get it onto the card base. And then right in the center there, I am just adding some tape because I want to put my the other like center part of the black frame. I want to add that into the center here just to finish it off a bit. And also the black cardstock I'm using has got for the frame and for the centerpiece is kind of a textured cardstock, so it is different to the base card. The base card is, I believe it's a Simon Says Stamp cardstock actually. So it's a slightly darker or richer black, if that makes sense. But the texture on the cardstock in the center just adds another bit of fun to the card, especially that it's a black and white card mostly. So I used the Toboggan Together, I think that's what it's called, Lawn Fawn set for the sentiment for the second card. I have now super sped up this part because I have 6 blocks, which is essentially going to be 6 presents, and I have die cut the presents themselves. There's 3 different styles, if you like. I've cut them out 3, I think I did 3 of each, and in 3 different color glitter cardstocks so that I could just get a variety of colors on the different presents. I thought the green and the 2 shades of pink would be quite a nice combo, and it is very glittery, and I have glitter, and I'm still picking up glitter and will be probably for days. It just gets everywhere. I don't mind it so much, but I generally don't use it too much, the whole loose glitter thing. But these particular glitter cardstocks seem to shed, shall we say. their glitter quite a lot. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating, but anyway. And it does get everywhere. So all I'm doing is I'm popping on two of each of the different colours, and trying to, like, my OCD kind of kicked in, so I was trying to make sure that I had a good mixture of all these different colours, if that makes sense. I do kind of mix them up a bit, but say for example I've got a green frame with this square, the darker pink squares, and then I've got the lighter pink, so I didn't want to put the darker pink in there because I've already got the darker pink in the other one. If that made any sense. It was my OCD. I was trying to get it so that they were somewhat even. But so that I had three sort of different colours, and also made sure that I had two light pinks, two dark pinks, and two green presents with the bits inlaid. I don't know. It's probably, you're probably all going, there's a much simpler way of doing this than I did, but this is how I went with it. So I was just trying to make sure that I got like a good variety of the colours and mixed them up enough, is basically what I was trying to do. Anyway, I completely digress, and my cat's now scratching at the door. Of course. Anyway, so once I've done that, I also cut out these like little elements like bows. There's two types of bows, and there's a heart, as you can see there. And so what I did was I decided which present I wanted on which card and in what order, because again my little bit of OCD kind of kicked in and I had to get it in the specific order. And then for the ones this card with the little like openings, the presents fit with a slight border around them, so they don't fit flush onto that little flappy bit, which is nice. I think it kind of finishes it off a little bit more. And then on the second one, we're just going to stick them straight on there. But I felt like the present that had the like cross in the middle, or what would be the ribbon going across it, needed the big bow, and then the thinner but bigger bow, and then the chunkier bow I'm going to put on the one that's just got the two. Looks like it's got one piece of ribbon wrapped around it, if you know what I mean. And I used some silver, like metallic-y kind of, not metallic, what do you call it, like mirror cardstock. And then just the bow, this bow actually comes with like 3 layers, so that's really nice. It gives you quite a good amount of dimension on it as well. But I got to say, trying to stick all these types of cardstocks together was quite tricky. Like the backing on the Stampin' Up! Glitter cardstock had this weird film at the back, so it was actually quite hard to stick that stuff down. I don't know if they changed it now, because I've had this for quite a few years and I just haven't got around to using it, but it honestly was quite tricky to get it to stick. And the same with this mirror cardstock. It's got a weird kind of backing to it, so sticking it even to itself, that little bow on the left kind of gave me a bit of hassle. Like I had to keep tweaking it until it just gripped, to that adhesive. And I used a wet adhesive, which is obviously, for me, is a better thing because it's much stronger than a lot of other adhesives. So, and easier when you've got little dainty, dinky kind of things to stick together. And also when you're sticking something to glitter cardstock, you want a wet adhesive. It just bonds better to the glitter. So I then did the same thing as far as the styler presents. So like the stripy one had the heart, the one with that looks like it's got a cross in the middle, kind of like the ribbons going both ways, had the daintier bow and that sort of thing. And of course I just wanted to use all of it so that I could show you guys all of the dies that are in there. There are a couple of like little tags and things which I could have also added, and I think that's kind of cute because you could make up the presents and just have them kind of piled up on the front of a card, and that would be a really cute card as well. or you can do like I've done here, just to demonstrate how this die set actually works. And like I say, I've essentially got, well, I have got 2 cards out of just by die cutting it a couple of times and then mixing and matching the cardstock. So for these ones, I wanted to also add some dimensions. So we've got the foam raised for the frame on the other card, but on this one, I wanted to pop up the presents themselves because I haven't used that inner piece with the little openings. So I thought this would be a fun way to just add something. You don't have to do this on any of your cards. You can just keep them flat. And this sort of thing with some glitter and some mirror cardstock will just give it a bit of a wow factor anyway. So you don't need to pop things up, but I like it. I think it just works and it makes it, you know, just a bit of fun basically. So just kind of lining it up. And if you hear scratching in the background, it's my cat. He hates closed doors. So just lining it up somewhat evenly on the left and the right, and then I will sort of get the middle one in the middle. Yeah, when I get there. Right. So again, just trying to line this up somewhat evenly. And there you have it, guys. They are really easy to put together. They are very easy to do. It's a bit of die cutting, a bit of inlay, but honestly, they're really quick and easy cards and very pretty, I think, because of that glitter. I don't often use glitter cardstock, but it's just so pretty. So for this black card, sorry, the inside, you could just add, either write in a white pen or like a pen that's going to show up, or just add a piece of white cardstock or paper to that, so that you can see the writing when you write your message to your loved ones. And then the white one, obviously you don't need to do that, but I was just opening them up there, and then I'll show you how these little things open. And I think they're so sweet. So I would definitely go back and actually add a little bit more to the inside of those. But I just wanted to give you a quick demo on how this goes together. The fact that you can get 2 for 1, which I think is so cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and welcome to Christmas 2022. Aha. See you in the next one. Bye.